Roshfooco watches and things. We're back with another watch today. Today we'll have a quick look at the Martin SN009-G, the Grand Seiko spring drive homage dive watch. This is a bit of a beast, this watch. It also comes with a fairly beastly price tag. I picked this one up in the 11/11 sale 2021. It cost me £247, about $310. So it's not cheap. It's entering a new kind of price bracket for watches of this nature. So what do you get for your money? Of course, you do have a million other reviews to watch on YouTube. Do not take my words for, certainly as gospel. Have a look around, see what you can find. It is, as said, a fairly substantial watch. It's 44mm in diameter, 50.5 I get on the lug to lug, 13.5mm thick, and a 22mm lug width. Fully stainless steel, as you would imagine. Case, bezel, crown, case back, bracelet, clasp. We do have a ceramic bezel insert, and inside this one is a PT5000 movement, which is a 4 Hz, 8 ticks a second movement. You can see from the sweep of that second hand. I think it is also available with a SW200 Swiss-made movement, but they are all clones or copies of the same ETA movement. So, you know, I guess it's just a case of personal preference as far as that's concerned. 200 meters of water resistance. We do have a screw down crown and a screw down case back. Speaking of that crown, it is a 6.7mm branded with the shark logo. Hand wind hack. It's okay to screw back down. Sometimes you do have to kind of fish around to get that biting point. What you don't want to do is end up crossing threads on any of these watches. I have done that before, many moons ago. Yeah, so just going back to the branding there, you've got the shark logo on the crown and the case back, and you've got that hex San Martin on the dial and the clasp. I guess having two different logos is okay, really. As far as San Martin go, you could get 4. It's not a huge issue for me. I don't think it has to be the same throughout, although it might be pertinent to have this kind of shark/hex combo on dive watches. You might want that kind of cursive San Martin script that you find on some of the watches. Maybe that could be kind of for the heritage range. I think the old school San Martin block lettering might be pretty good for, you know, kind of aviation or field watches. But I mean, who am I? Let's just take a look at the bracelet before we look at the head of the watch. Bracelet's lovely. Pin and collars, which is fine to fix. To get a right fit, to take out links or add links. Pin and collar is no problem at all, as long as you've got a very basic toolkit for resizing, and it does a great job. It's really smooth, this bracelet. It's I mean, it has been commented upon in other videos how really well finished this bracelet is, and I will agree with that. I'll concur with that at all. Really smooth, just kind of exudes quality. 5 links, although it's got a kind of funny setup. If you have a look at the underneath, but it's all solid and it finished and just feels nice. You know, you just get quality of how it feels, and it feels fantastic. Not too much polish, so it should keep fairly well. I mean, you see I've got a few dinks on it already, but that's what happens when you wear watches. There is minimal, if any, end link wobble. Fits really well. Super bracelet. The head of the watch, the case finishing is super nice. Let's have a look at that. High polished sides. Of course, the drawback is you're going to get dink showing up, but again, wear your watches. It's got that lovely high polished chamfer. Moving on to really softly brushed tops of the lugs that fit really nicely with the bracelet as well. So super job on the finishing there. Excuse me. Goodness me, I should edit that out, although I probably won't. Oh, so I forgot to tell you about the clasp, didn't I? As we were talking about the bracelet. The clasp is that fairly standard 4-position micro adjust milled San Martin clasp. No dive extension or anything. It's fairly basic. You find it on lots of their models, but it certainly does the job with those double pushers and a nice click. The bezel's got these crazy, almost kind of sawtooth grip. Ceramic insert. Pip at the 12 o'clock, 60-minute marker, whatever you want to call it. Very little, sometimes a little rock back as you see there, but once it's in place, totally solid. Yeah, a little bit of wobble back. And does it line up? My eyes are not fantastic these days, but it's pretty good. And the good thing about this is that although it has the strangest aesthetic with these, this really prominent kind of tooth grip. I mean, it does make it incredibly grippy, but I also think that this one, let's see if you can hear this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17, 20. 240 click bezel. For what it's worth, yes, I think it's probably marketed as a 120 click bezel. They may be kind of, those 2 clicks may be intermediary clicks, but I can hear 240 clicks. So if you're gonna use the appellation clicks as a way to define something, this has got 240 of them, and there's also that as well. not there, hold on, at the 12. It does rock back every now and again. There you go. Anyway, 240 click, would you believe it? Dial is huge. Applied markers, quite small to be honest. With that polished surround, loomed inner. Pretty text at the bottom there. Applied San Martin hex logo. It's a matte finish on the dial. There is a frame on the date window there for what it's worth. What I would say about the dial is that there is masses and masses of real estate on that dial that are not really being used. I think on the watch that it's homaging, it's got like a spring drive power reserve around the kind of 7-8 o'clock, which fills up some of that dial, but that's a huge amount of space on that dial. It does look a bit, for want of a better word, it does look a bit forlorn really. It's a kind of matte finish, huge swathes of this kind of black / charcoal grey matte dial. It's not particularly alluring, I have to say. The handset, again, the handset to fit into this watch are massive. You've got a kind of cathedral-y style hour hand, big arrow minute hand, really reaches out to the edge of the dial, as does the second hand, which you can see is going right out to that printed rehaut. That is on the rehaut, it's not on the dial itself. Seven-inch wrist for your reference. Like I said, it is a fairly substantial watch at 44mm diameter, but as you can see, those kind of subtle curves to the case fits a dream. 50.5, I mean, I wouldn't like to go much bigger than that on my wrist, but my wrist can cope with that, no problem at all. The bracelet is super comfortable. It's just a joy, and you can see from the dinks and stuff that I've had that are in this watch that I do wear it quite often. I do think that they could have done something a bit more dynamic with the dial itself, but it's a super watch. £247. I know, I mean, that's kind of stepping out of the realms of affordable Chinese homages, but I mean, this is a super homage, really. Let's have a look at the Loom whilst we're here. A blue compound, some form of BGW9, you would have thought. To be honest, the Loom is a bit of a letdown. It's not super bright. I don't think it's going to last all night. Obviously, I don't wear this one in bed because it weighs a ton. So I don't know how long the Loom lasts, whether it's all night or not, I don't know, but it's certainly not as bright as many other watches. And there it is. It's the San Martin SN009-G. It really is a good, if expensive, offering from San Martin. I say treat yourself, pick one up, because the quality that you pay for that extra, 50 quid, extra 20% or something is noticeable. Okay, roshfooco watches and things, San Martin SN009-G. We're both out.